First story is titled, Am I the a-hole for my reaction when I got home and found my 6-month-old daughter wearing the same diaper for 9 hours? I, 35 female, been busy with work. I'm a nurse and taking care of my 6-month-old baby girl and her 6-year-old sister. My husband worked night shifts 3 nights a week, so he's usually sleeping at home during the day. He got himself a PS5 a month ago. He started spending time playing. He used to handle some of the house chores. Now all he does is make excuses of how tired he is and how much he needs sleep. But he'd come home from his shift and starts playing. He drinks a lot of coffee to stay concentrated and awake. Also, he stopped eating properly, keeps forgetting to do things I ask him to do, like help fix his daughter's toys, / take turns in changing diapers, etc. I started calling my mom to come help, since he's been too busy to do simple things. He didn't like that I asked others for help and said I didn't have to, that he'll start helping again. I actually believed him and left for my 8-hour shift at the hospital, and before I left, I reminded him of everything that he needed to do, from feeding, / changing diapers, / cleaning our daughter's room, etc. He said, don't worry about it, and then I left. I called him to check on the kids and he said everything was fine. I came home in the evening and I was shocked to see our 6-month-old's bed was put in the living room, her stuff on the couch, while he was playing. She didn't stop crying. He said he didn't know what was wrong. Turned out he didn't change the diaper after I left. She was wearing the same diaper for 9 hours. He said he forgot, but he was busy playing. I immediately took care of her. I knew her rash was going to get worse after that. My 6-year-old's hair was a mess. He didn't brush her hair. The kitchen was a mess. I was livid and kept yelling at him for being neglectful and reckless, and literally forgetting about his own kids over a game. He said that I was overreacting and that it was my fault for not reminding him on the phone. I told him it was my fault for leaving the kids with someone who doesn't even brush his teeth. He got offended and left the house minutes later. His mom called me, telling me that my husband stayed up at night to make a living for his kids and that I was pressuring him by giving him more than he could handle. I tried to explain, but she kept lashing out, calling me controlling, and said I might be frustrated from my job, that's why I'm taking it out on him. I hung up on her and had to take care of all that mess. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. If my husband did this, him and his PS5 would be out the door. You know what it tells me? He says I don't get to tell him earn and how much time he should spend playing since he purchased it with his money. This annoyed me. Like he's shaming me for not contributing, like it's an important thing. Not the a-hole. Your husband isn't a competent father and is blaming you for it. It's awful. I'm exhausted and overwhelmed. It's too much to take and he just keeps thinking I'm treating him poorly and putting too much pressure on him, but it's quite the opposite. Not the a-hole. That's legal neglect, like thousands of dollars fine and possible jail time neglect, not changing an infant's diaper for 9 hours. Either he needs to wake the hell up or you just take the kids and go, because I don't see that behavior changing anytime soon. Now for the next story. Would I be the a-hole for returning my husband's Christmas present after he snooped, opened, and started using it? Just as a startup, I would like to say that he literally went digging to find a gift. I hid it in our attic in a tote of summer clothing, which he literally never gets into. He never steps foot in that attic because he is terrified of spiders. So anyways, my husband has been saying for months that the only thing he wanted for Christmas was a VR headset. He's wanted one since they came out with them, so it's been a hot minute that he's been obsessed with these rigs. So, when I found the VR he wanted on Black Friday for $200 less than the original asking price, I immediately bought it. When I got home with the gift, he was in the garage, so I quickly ran the item to the attic and hid it. The item was still in the box, in the bag, with a receipt, not wrapped. When I was in the attic, my husband came inside and yelled up the stairs to ask what I was doing, and I told him I was sifting through stuff to see if I had an extra snow pants for a friend, which she had asked me for the day prior. He didn't question it at that point. However, he must have felt something was up because when I left for work the next day, he found a gift after he went snooping. I came home early from work due to them scheduling too many people on, and when I returned, I found him in the living room with a VR all set up and him playing some game. Meaning, he went through the entire setup process and downloaded games already. I was so pissed off and upset about this. Not only did he ruin the surprise, but I didn't get to see his freaking face light up when he opened it, which I had been looking forward to. As soon as he heard me clear my throat, he ripped the headset off and said something like, "Oh, you're home early. I found this and wanted to test it out before you gave it to whoever you bought it for." I will admit that me immediately starting to cry was over the top excessive. I was just extremely bummed out. I think that's when he gathered that the item was for him. However, I walked out, got in my car and took off to our local park to sit by myself for a minute. He texted me and said, "I'm sorry, I didn't know it was for me. You know how long I've wanted one of these bad boys, so I truly just wanted to test it out. I thought it was for your brother. But no offense, you were acting like you came home and saw me with another woman or something." I didn't respond. Would I be the a-hole if I returned the gift because he snooped, opened it, and ruined the surprise for me? Not the a-hole. You know this, but your husband is lying. He didn't think it was for your brother. He knew it was for him. Those VR headsets require you to either set up a new account or link an existing one. So by his own story, he took your brother's gift and just put all of his own stuff into it? Come on. He knows he messed up, but is trying to deflect back on you by making you feel bad for your reaction. And by the way, given this exact setup, I would have cried too. Don't blame yourself for crying. It wasn't excessive. It was absolutely understandable. This response is 100% OP. Talk to your husband, and if he can admit he was lying and didn't expect to be caught, don't return the present, but do take it away until Christmas. He lied and tried to gaslight you. It was wrong to do on all levels regardless of his intent, but if he can't be honest with you, then you will not be the a-hole for returning the present. No one opens up a present for someone else and starts using it as a gesture of goodwill. Not the a-hole. And honestly, his response would piss me off even more, because he's trying to shift the problem from himself to you. Well, yeah, I opened the game, but you overreacted like crazy. Jeez, what is your problem? Return it and get him $200 worth of socks and a VR headset box. But make sure you hide the box again, just to see what happens this time. Info: why did he think it was okay to try out a present he thought was for your brother? I'm honestly not sure. I think he definitely knew it was for him but didn't expect to get caught because I was due to be at work for another 6 hours. The next story is titled, "Am I the a-hole for not helping my former stepmom and step-siblings after my dad's death?" My dad died relatively recently and didn't have much left in terms of assets. He had remarried to Ruth, but I, now 32, was already an adult and don't really consider his wife my stepmom. While she technically got his belongings, they weren't much after paying his outstanding debts. I, however, was his life insurance beneficiary, which was $500,000. We've checked with lawyers. There's nothing she can do, as it was a policy updated in the last year, and at least, where we live, life insurance is treated separate from inheritance. He married a significantly younger woman who has 2 kids in high school. He was paying the lion's share of the bills, but they didn't have a college fund. Now, Ruth is asking me to give her money for living expenses as well as enough for both of her kids to go through college. Personally, I don't think it ever should have been my dad's job to provide for her kids, and I've never felt so close to them. Now that I'm beginning my own life, my wife and I would like to use the funds to pay off what's left of our student loan debts, a down payment for a house, as well as a little cushion. Ruth says I'm being selfish, but I just think given the fact that he set me up as a beneficiary as recently as he did, I'm following his wishes by using it to advance my life. Ruth brings up the fact that I don't have kids while my dad had stepkids, but my wife and I would like to, if/when this pandemic ever ends, so we want to keep the cushion for that. I also paid for college myself through loans and scholarships, so I don't really sympathize with them not having a college fund. It's been a hell of a year, and I'm about to just block Ruth because it feels like harassment at this point, but I'm curious what people from a third-party perspective think. I will try my best to respond to info posts. Edit. Holy crap, this blew up overnight. By far, the majority are telling me I'm in the right, which reassures me. I'm done responding to comments, but there's been some common questions. To address some common themes, they didn't get absolutely nothing, just not a ton. She'll likely be able to continue her lifestyle for about 6 to 12 months, then she'll have to downsize her lifestyle. The stepkids are freshmen and sophomores in high school. Their dad is not absent. He has split custody. He's just not much of an earner, and my understanding is he doesn't pay child support due to 50-50 custody. College-wise, I don't care, since they can get scholarships/financial aid/student loans. That's what I had and did just fine. If they were going to be homeless, I'd help out, but I paid all funeral/burial costs, and after how entitled she acted, my wife and I decided to just leave them in the past and move on. She can adjust her lifestyle or try to find someone else to take care of her again. Now for the top comments. Not a-hole, and don't give her a cent. You were his bio child, and he tried to provide for you. If he wanted to provide for his wife and her kids, he would have. Tell her that if she doesn't stop harassing you, you'll get a restraining order and use that money to have a good life, mate. The stepmom is in an unfortunate situation, but to try to harass Opie over it while they're still grieving as well is just plain rude. Not a-hole. Your father clearly intended for you to receive the money. And if getting her kids' college paid for is a worry for her, why isn't she contacting their actual father? The fact that he recently updated that policy with you as a sole beneficiary really cinches it for me. Your money, not a-hole. Not a-hole. Your dad would have known what he was doing by naming you as the beneficiary of his policy. He was setting up to provide for his kid. Your step-siblings' biological parents can pay for their education. Please don't feel guilty about the money. Sorry for your loss. Or get the financial aid that's intended for children of low-income parents. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not sharing everything with my little siblings? My 16 female dad died when I was 5. My mom got married again when I was 9 and have 3 little siblings. So I have some stuff that were my dad's that he passed down to me. An old collection of Winnie the Pooh plushies and this old toy box that my granddad built for him. And a couple of toys he bought for me. And these are things I have never shared with anyone, but especially not my siblings. I always said I wanted to keep them for me and maybe hand them down to my kids like my dad did with me. My mom is really upset about this. She has always tried to get me to let my siblings play with them and encouraged me to let them have more access to my dad's side of the family and all the stuff I can do with them. But the biggest issue has always been the physical items I keep off limits. Recently, it got really bad because my youngest sister got really into Winnie the Pooh and wanted the plushies in her room, and I was seen as the jerk because I wouldn't let her have even one. It has become a huge deal of late, and I am seen as a jerk. I love my siblings, but the stuff left from my dad are special. And I don't want to share those things with them. And I don't know if that makes me an a-hole or not. My stepdad sure thinks I'm a huge jerk and has expressed it lately. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Those are treasures from your father. I completely understand. The fact that they don't makes my heart hurt for you. Let them think what they want. Hold on to your treasures and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I agree. Why does mom want her kids have access to Opie's dad's family? They aren't related to the kids. These are Opie's special things, and they need to remain off limits to her siblings. They could lose or ruin the items, not intentionally, but they are kids and stuff happens. My dad lost his father in a war when he was pretty young. His mother let all the kids in the family play with his stuff, so by the time he was old enough to appreciate it, everything was sort of destroyed. It is a big disappointment for him, because all he has are some folded pictures and a destroyed coat. Medals lost. Things destroyed. Now that he lost his mother, my grandma, he really doesn't have a lot. So not the a-hole. What your parents want to happen is not fair. These are not your full siblings, so your dad's legacy is not their legacy. So they don't have a right to the items. Not even a little. Not the a-hole. I'm sorry your mom is not being supportive. Try to talk to her and tell her how important these are to you. How devastated you would be if one was damaged or destroyed by the normal play activity of a small child, and how they need her support in protecting this connection to your dad. Good luck. I have tried talking to her, but she doesn't like it still. She says I always want to keep them out of grief and this is just another way of doing it. But I told her that they're not his kids, so they don't share the same love or care for them that I do. They are a piece of my dad, a piece of his childhood and mine, and others were given to me by him because he knew what I would like. Basically, she says if they were my full siblings, I would share them, and that is partly true. I would help them learn to appreciate them so I could share without fear, but But the fact is, they aren't my dad's kids, so these are just toys to them, or they are more to me. So much more. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you with the next one. Stay safe.